You've just washed your pure silk saree, or maybe you got caught in a sudden rainstorm, but instead of drying cleanly, the dark dye from the cheap cotton falls seeps directly into those pristine silk threads. To keep this from happening, we need to look at how to properly prep that fall before it's ever stitched on, and how to safely spot clean the silk if the fall is already attached. Here is exactly what you need to get started: a basin, cold water, 2 tablespoons of plain table salt, a dry towel, an iron, and your unstitched cotton fall. Treating these raw cotton components before they ever make contact with your silk is the most effective way to protect your investment. Step 1 begins with a strict rule: never stitch a cotton fall onto a saree straight out of the shopping bag. You have to prep it first. Submerge the unstitched cotton strip completely into a basin of cold water mixed with 1 to 2 tablespoons of salt. Leave it there for exactly 30 minutes. This diagram shows exactly why we use salt. Salt acts as a natural mordant, a binding agent that works on a molecular level to actively lock the loose dye particles onto the fixed cotton fibers. Step 2 is the clear rinse test. Take that soaked fall and aggressively rinse it under cold running water until the runoff is completely transparent. If the water continues to run cloudy or shows any tint of color after extensive rinsing, throw the fall away. A cheap piece of cotton is never worth risking your silk. Step 3. Once the water runs clear, squeeze out the excess moisture. Let it air dry completely and then iron it totally flat. This heat treatment gives you a secondary structural benefit by pre-shrinking the cotton material before it's attached. Following this prep sequence creates a much more stable, color-locked fabric. It also ensures the cotton has finished shrinking before it's attached, preventing the saree's hem from puckering or warping later. If your saree already has a stitched fall attached, your safest default is professional dry cleaning. Dry cleaners use waterless solvents, which prevents water-soluble dyes from running. But if you absolutely have to clean mud or dirt off the bottom edge at home, you need to use the spot wash method. Start by gathering about 90% of the main silk body and holding it safely up over your arm or shoulder. Carefully lower strictly the dirty bottom 5 inches, the section with the fall, into a shallow basin of cold water. By physically isolating the water exposure to just the dirty hem, you prevent the water-soluble cotton dye from migrating upward into the dry silk body. For the post-wash drying phase, you must lay the wet area completely flat horizontally on a clean, dry towel. Do not, under any circumstances, hang a wet, washed saree vertically to dry. This cross-section animation shows the physics of why that fails. Gravity pulls the wet, loose dye from the cotton hem straight down, actively dragging it through the main, delicate silk body. If a color bleed disaster has already occurred, you need to shift to the emergency protocol. Immediately stop treating the garment at home. Take it straight to a professional dry cleaner and explicitly point out the exact bleed spots so they can apply targeted solvent treatments. Resist the urge to try home remedies. Do not panic iron the stain, and do not use bleach or standard spot removers. Heat will permanently bake the loose dye right into the fibers, and harsh chemicals will strip the silk of its natural sheen. Professional intervention is the only viable way to rescue the fabric. Meticulously following these preparation, washing, and drying steps ensures your silk sarees will remain vibrant, safe from dye transfer, and structurally perfect at the hem. If this tutorial helped you save a favorite saree, hit the like button. Share this with fellow silk owners and drop your fabric care questions in the comments. A bit of preventative chemistry and careful handling ensures these expensive silk garments remain heirloom quality for generations.